one submission.
Bro, he's got a crushing squeeze. Well,
it's different, bro. It's different. Yeah, he strangled me. And the way he did it, I think he Moicano filled in last minute to fight Islam and got caught with the same choke. It's kind of like a Darce choke, but he locks it on his forearm.
Yeah.
He doesn't go to the bicep.
I know.
And the squeeze is different. He's pulling to his chest. It's not like a angle squeeze. It's different. So the defense is different. When I got my legs out and tried to walk around, he hooked my leg, but like the squeeze is completely different.
What do you want to say before running?
Run. Everybody run.
Go, start.
When Gazelle wake up, run.
I've lost my mind! As an MMA analyst, I've lost my fucking mind this year. I've never felt happier about UFC results that I've felt dumber about. I'm supposed to be the fucking MMA guru, dude. I've been made to look like a fucking fool in these prediction videos. And I just know, because this is how it always fucking works, dude. I just know that the second I start picking the underdogs, all of a sudden, Makachev just fucking dominant. How could you pick Ian Garry? Like we ain't seen the recent events that we've seen. I'm going to go with Ian Garry, dude. I think he's going to be too elusive on the feet. I don't think Makachev's going to be able to kick at range against him and do that effectively. And I think it's big danger for Makachev on the feet, man. At range, listen, against JDM's the same size as Makachev. Maybe a slight bit taller than him, but they're about the same frame, same size. Makachev went to the legs of JDM, you know, knowing that he was going to have that stance. And we've seen that, you know, JDM's low kick defense isn't what it's all cracked up to be. So that was kind of like a, you know, in hindsight now we know when it comes to Makachev against JDM. And he had been taken down by Gilbert Burns, but he had a broken arm, but, you know, all good. We don't see Ian Garry spending too much time on bottom position, and if he does, he survives and he makes the adjustments.
Islam fights Ian. Who wins?
Of course, I think Makhachev gonna win. Makachev is a double champ, really good fighter. Ian Garry is the underdog, but I really believe like Ian have a really good skills to beat Makhachev.
Who would you prefer to fight?
The both would be good. For the legacy, Makhachev is great, you know, just one loss, a lot of winning streak. But for me, by person, I prefer Ian. That lose for me is still a little bit painful, so I think me and Ian, we still have some business to do.
Проходи, увереннее. Давай. Спину попробуй забрать, да. Ари, давай. Ари, болевой.
Catching you up on some fight news. UFC 330, August 15th. It's going to be Ian Machado Garry versus Islam Makhachev.
Oh, that's the fight I've been waiting for, really, because all my Muslim friends are like, Islam! And I'm like, I don't know, pal. That's a big man. And Ian Machado Garry, I don't think we'll get tapped out to a Darce in the first round. I mean, and that is Islam's big deal right there. You know, he's got such a strength. Islam has, you know, they always brag about it, whatever, but you can just see it when he gets in on a single or holds that head and arm choke or whatever the hell submission comes. You can just see like raw coils of Dagestani power coming out of that guy. So Ian Garry's job is to dance revolution all around the damn octagon, kicking them, you know, moving, punching them, and make it a little kickboxing bout, because while Islam has solid kickboxing, he's sort of, they have this Dagestani style that, I don't know, it looks like it comes from European kickboxing, and it's good and it works well with their wrestling, but Garry has a sort of wacky new age style, switching stance and kicking from long range, and the physicality of him being so tall and long can help him a lot. I think if he's improved his wrestling boatload and then he has the gas tank to go 5 rounds, I mean, that could be a very advantageous fight for Ian Garry.
Islam Makhachev. Too tough for Garry. Garry has a good striking. I think on the striking, Garry make problem for Islam, but Islam has a good timing of takedown. He's gonna take him down and most likely submit round number 3. So,
for Islam, like I mentioned, he's so good everywhere that he doesn't propose propose. He doesn't pose a particular style that Islam can't handle. So that's why Islam says what he says, because no one's been able to give Islam issues on how he wants to spar. No one. He's been able to dictate how he wants to. So the only one in the past was Khabib, and that's when Khabib made him grapple. But other than that, no one. And I've never seen it from anybody, and I don't think Ian's going to be able to dictate how the fight's going to go. I think he's going to have to fight where he can fight, but he's not going to dictate. He's not. Islam was going to cut him off. He's going to do whatever he needs to do what he wants to do. It's going to be Islam's way, not Ian's way. It's going to be Islam's way. How that's going to happen, I don't know. We will wait to go into the fight, but we'll be prepared for him, and we're not underestimating him. We'd be foolish to do so because he's very tricky. He is long, and
when new training footage of Islam Makachev surfaced from his mountain camp ahead of UFC 330, the combat sports world did not simply take notice. It stopped cold. The clips spread across every major MMA platform within hours. Analysts, former champions, commentators, and casual fans all had the same reaction. This man does not look like someone preparing for a title defense. He looks like someone who has decided the conversation about pound-for-pound greatness is about to end on August 15th in Philadelphia. Joe Rogan, a man who has commentated some of the most technically extraordinary performances in UFC history, has been publicly floored by what he's seen. And when someone with Rogan's depth of martial arts knowledge reacts to training footage with genuine disbelief, the combat sports community listens, because Rogan does not get surprised easily. He has watched generations of champions, seen the best grappling on the planet up close, and knows what elite movement looks like. So when he's expressing shock at what Islam Makhachev is doing in the gym, that reaction carries weight. To understand why, you need to understand what Makhachev has become since he first moved up to welterweight. When he stripped Jack Della Maddalena of the 170-pound title at UFC 322 in November of last year, he did something that very few fighters have ever done at the elite level. He moved up a full weight class and made the reigning champion look completely helpless. 19 minutes of mat control in a 25-minute fight, 4 for 4 on takedown attempts, a 50-45 sweep on every scorecard. Della Maddalena was no stepping stone. He was a legitimate knockout artist who had earned that belt the hard way. Makhachev dismantled him like a sparring partner. That performance answered the biggest question surrounding Makhachev's move to welterweight. The question was whether his grappling would still be elite against bigger men. The answer was emphatically yes. Now, heading into his first welterweight title defense, the training footage coming out of his camp in the mountains of Dagestan is suggesting something far more alarming for the division. He is getting better. The clips that have circulated show a fighter whose movement has tightened, whose entries into the clinch have become sharper, and whose level of conditioning at 170 pounds looks nothing short of extraordinary. Those who follow the sport carefully are noting that Makhachev appears to be drilling his transitions, specifically with a taller opponent in mind. The footwork before his takedown setups has a different rhythm to it, one designed to close distance against a long, rangy striker. Ian Garry is exactly that kind of opponent, and the camp footage suggests Makhachev's team has already built their entire game plan around solving that specific problem. Ian Garry is not a paper contender. Let's be completely clear about that. The 28-year-old Irishman earned this shot the right way. Back-to-back wins over Carlos Paredes, whose knockout power had already dismantled Della Maddalena after the fact, and then a composed, technical decision over former champion Belal Muhammad, a man who successfully defended takedowns against some of the best wrestlers in the sport. Garry held his own in the clinch, moved intelligently, and outpointed Muhammad across 3 rounds. That performance showed tactical maturity and real championship-level composure. Garry also carries significant physical advantages into this fight. He stands 6'3" compared to Makhachev's 5'10" and holds a 3.5-inch reach advantage. For a fighter whose entire game is built on dictating range with a sharp jab, oblique kicks, and smart footwork, those dimensions matter enormously. He has beaten some of the best wrestlers in the division on the feet because his distance management is not an accident. It is a precisely calibrated system. When Garry is comfortable at range, he is a nightmare to pressure. His 80% takedown defense in the UFC is one of the most impressive numbers at welterweight, and he has not been taken down easily by anyone at this level. But here is where the training footage of Makhachev becomes genuinely terrifying for Garry's camp. The general sentiment among professionals who have studied this matchup closely is that Garry's greatest challenge will not come from whether he can defend takedowns. It will come from whether he can stop Makhachev from getting close enough to attempt them in the first place. Makhachev's whole game is built on closing distance without getting hurt in the process. process. He absorbs shots on the way in. He gives up the jab and takes the range because he knows that once his underhook is set, the takedown is coming regardless of how technically gifted the striker is. Alexander Volkanovski, Dustin Poirier, Charles Oliveira, none of them could stop it when he truly committed. The Rachmanov loss is the data point that haunts Garry's record heading into this. That fight showed what happens when Garry faces a complete wrestler at the elite level, a fighter who can both hurt him standing and control him on the ground. Makachev is a better chain wrestler than Rachmanov. His transitions after the takedown are smoother. His submission entries off back control are sharper. The Diarse choke he finished Poirier with in the 5th round of UFC 302 in a championship fight under maximum pressure against an opponent who had been competitive all night was one of the most technically immaculate submissions in UFC championship history. Several respected voices in the sport have noted that Garry's long limbs, which help him so much at striking range, can become handles for Makachev to manipulate once the fight hits the mat. The scrambles that Garry would need to survive those ground sequences are precisely the moments that expose neck and arm access for Makachev's submission game. That is not speculation. It is the pattern that every Makachev opponent has eventually discovered. What makes this fight so compelling, though, is that Garry genuinely has a path. If he can keep the fight standing for 3 or more rounds, stack clean combinations from outside, and make Makachev pay consistently on entries, there is a version of this fight where he wins a decision. Garry's engine is exceptional. His cardio does not decline late in fights, and if the judges see a close striking contest, Garry has the output to win rounds. The question is not whether his skills are real. They clearly are. The question is whether anyone has ever truly been able to keep Makachev at range for 25 minutes when Makachev has made the takedown his singular obsession. Looking at what is on the line only deepens the weight of this fight. Makachev currently holds 16 consecutive wins, a streak tied with Anderson Silva for the longest in UFC history. One more win, and he stands alone at the top of that record. 2-division champion, longest win streak in company history, pound for pound #1. That is what August 15th in Philadelphia represents for his legacy. For Garry, a win here would be not just a championship, it would represent one of the biggest upsets in modern UFC history, and would immediately reframe how the world views Irish MMA going forward. So when that training footage drops, and Makachev is drilling mountain runs and wrestling entries at altitude, moving like something between a machine and an apex predator in a sport that produces apex predators, the reaction is not media noise. It is the recognition that this man is genuinely at or near his ceiling as a fighter, and his ceiling is somewhere very few humans have ever been. The question is a simple one, but it deserves a serious answer. Can Ian Garry actually keep Islam Makhachev on the outside for 5 full rounds, control enough distance to win 3 of them, and walk out of Philadelphia as UFC welterweight champion? Or is what we are seeing in these training clips the early warning signal of a dominant performance that ends with Makhachev standing alone at the top of the all-time records? Drop your prediction in the comments right now. Does Ian Garry's reach, movement, and tactical intelligence give him a genuine shot at one of the biggest upsets in years? Or does the camp footage confirm what many in the sport already fear? If you want to stay on top of every major UFC 330 breakdown, reaction, and fight analysis before August 15th, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell. This is only going to get bigger.